Hi guys, this is Jack, and today we're going to be doing some Sundance Film Festival reviews. Some of the films that I saw at the Sundance Film Festival were pretty good. I've been doing this for the past 3 years. Ever since they started doing the virtual component for this festival, I've saved up a lot of money and was able to get into some of the big movies that were programmed at the festival virtually. Last year, A Real Pain and Thelma and Dee Dee were the big three Sundance titles that were offered for the virtual component of the festival. And I saw those three movies and I really enjoyed them. And eventually one of them became an Oscar contender, and that was A Real Pain. So fast forward to now, we're basically doing the same thing where we're trying to figure out which movie can break out at the festival and can become an Oscar contender. So I want to go into some of the films that I saw at this festival, the ones that are really good and are ones that I will be looking out to see if it can get past this current landscape of film festivals, especially early in the year. But today we're going to be talking about Twinless, which is the new film by James Sweeney starring Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney. Yeah, so let's get into it. So Twinless is about two people who magically meet at this support group for twins. Their twins have died from an accident, and the other twins are in these state of mind situations where they're trying to figure out how to live without their twins. Dylan O'Brien, his twin passed away after a horrific car crash, and James Sweeney's character, his twin died due to a sickness, which isn't entirely detailed. But these two people magically meet at the support group, and eventually they become best friends. They do a lot of stuff that male best friends do, hang out, eat, go grocery shopping, play The Sims, and eventually they just become these really cool, buddies. But there's a twist to this movie which I will not spoil. Let's just say it has a little Dear Evan Hansen in the mix. But once that kind of twist starts to reveal itself, then the dynamic becomes to be something that is entirely different. And I say this because you start out with these two characters who are really going through it. They're struggling to bring out their emotions and they're grieving. But then eventually, once the grieving process starts to bloom and eventually fall apart and turn into more of a friendship, that's when the film starts to really hit its high points. I was really taken aback by Dylan O'Brien's performance in this movie. I thought he was really terrific. I haven't seen him in a lot of movies lately. He was actually in a Sundance movie last year, Pony Boy, which I thought was really good. He played the villain in the movie, but here he gets a lot of screen time and a lot of time to shine. And his dramatic chops in this movie is just so good. I was really surprised by each turn that the character would make and each turn that Dylan O'Brien would make in terms of his acting chops. And there are moments where you get to see him do monologues, long take monologues that are very dramatic and emotional. And again, it kind of reminded me of last year's A Real Pain, where you'll have these two characters just going off at each other, and then eventually they'll have a big monologue moment. And Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney have both of those monologue moments sprinkled into the movie. And I was also taken aback by James Sweeney's performance in this movie. I liked his last movie, Straight Up, which I watched a couple weeks ago before checking this new one out. And I think his direction and writing and actually acting in this movie is far superior than his debut. Here, he's doing a lot of things, and there's a lot of twists and turns that happen with his character. But even then, both of these characters still feel real people. And I think, again, going back to just the idea of these two best friends bonding with each other with the twin element, it really brings a surprise to how we communicate with our best friends, especially our male best friends. But the performances are really good. The writing is really great. It feels very original, and it feels like James Sweeney had sort of these thoughts in his mind, and he wanted to bring it out to the screen. And the direction's also really good. There's also, again, a moment where they'll have a one take monologue sequence, and it's shot really beautifully. And then there's also a really great scene where these two characters dress up as Sim characters, and they're going to a Halloween party, and there's a split screen of both of them trying to ask their dates out, and it's a really cute scene. and I really like enjoyed like the realism of those two characters in that moment in the film. Aside from that, you do get to see, you know, some of the flaws behind the movie, and you also understand where the twist is going to go and where it ends. And it's predictable in that sense, but again, I was just still like riveted by the movie, and I was just like okay with the fact that like eventually this character is going to say something to this character, and it's going to like change the hierarchy of the relationship. But yeah, this was really good. I recommend it. I do think that this film has a potential to be a part of like the award season if it's playing its cards right, especially since the studio Paramount Pictures has a smaller distributor, Republic Pictures, who is taking this film. I don't know if they can go far with it, but it's giving me, you know, Cooper Rife vibes. If you don't remember, a few years ago, a movie called Cha Cha Real Smooth had big buzz at Sundance and was really good, but the movie came out in the summer and then eventually it died out, and it was only, I think, nominated for the Indie Spirits. This is the direction that it could go, but if it does get like good distribution, a good release date, you can see this movie show up at the Golden Globes and maybe eventually the Oscars, but I'm betting on the Golden Globes and the Indie Spirits for this movie. And finally, I do want to talk about like the controversy behind this movie, and it's not like the movie itself, it's more of like the release. This movie leaked just like, I think like a few hours after the festival started, like the virtual component. Some like Dylan O'Brien stans like decided to screen record some of the big steamy scenes in the movie, which they are like pretty steamy. Like I really enjoyed those scenes, but they took their phones out, they screen recorded the scene, and then they posted it on Twitter, and that causes a big backlash. And eventually Sundance found out, took some of the clips off of Twitter, and also took off the movie on their virtual player. So yeah, this movie is sight unseen now because of what happened to the piracy thing that happened on Friday. But I was able to watch this before it got pulled, which I was very lucky. A very bad fuck you to all of the people who decided to screen record that scene and then eventually get this movie pulled off of the schedule. Fuck you. I hope you guys get what you deserve, because this movie is it's just a magical movie, and it's one of those movies that I will definitely like think about after this festival ends, and I hope people will be able to check it out. They did bring out some vouchers for the people who had the movie on their streaming portal, but I don't know, that's like not enough. And even then, I think this is pretty much the end of the Sundance Virtual Film Festival, because if this continues like every year, then yeah, they're gonna like stop doing this, and it's sad. I hate it, but it was pretty predictable ever since this virtual component started. But yeah, that's my review for Twinless. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stick around for more Sundance reviews. I will be reviewing other movies from there. And yeah, peace out.